Hi fangirls, and welcome to It's a Fangirl World Vlog. This is where we share a love of all things Disney with a little added girl power pixie dust. I'm Kim, and today we're going to be talking about one of the best special events of the year at Walt Disney World, the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival.
And I'm Steph. In our last vlog, we talked about Pandora, the world of Avatar. If you missed it, be sure to check it out on our YouTube channel after this broadcast. We also had a special giveaway contest paired with that video. So if you liked that, please let us know in the comments below, and maybe some more contests will be coming your way. On It's a Fangirl World, we focus on a different Disney topic every episode, from parks to movies and beyond, all while celebrating the contributions that amazing women have made to help make Disney what it is today. You can expect tips, updates, and more, all by fangirls for fangirls.
And for our fanboys too. A quick shout out to those of you fanboys who are also watching our episodes. Thanks for joining. If you like what you see today, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss a vlog, or leave us a comment to let us know what topics you'd love to hear more about.
And if you want daily fangirl fun, head on over to our Facebook page and give us a like. We post over there every single day with new content, and we encourage our fellow fangirls to chime in. So now on to our topic of the week, the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. Yay!
The Epcot International Food and Wine Festival started in 1985 as a way to celebrate global cuisines and get guests in the park during a very typically slow season. It's become more and more popular every year and is now the biggest special event at Epcot. In 2017, it will run from August 21st until November 13th.
Wow. I'm a huge foodie, in case you hadn't figured that out, and we've been lucky enough to visit the festival a number of times, my husband and I. Whenever we go, we plan our trips all around the festival, so we plan a lot more time and meals at Epcot than we usually would. We also skip out on making ADRs so we can fill up on all the goodies at the Food and Wine Festival instead.
Something that makes the Food and Wine Festival such a good value is that you can experience a lot of it for no added cost. There are exhibits, displays, demos throughout the festival that you can enjoy for free, and they are included with your park admission. And then there's the Eat to the Beat concert, that series that features different artists nightly, from Hanson to Boys to Men, and these concerts are free. That's a huge selling point, definitely.
These are real bands. Sometimes Disney does these concert series with tribute bands. These are the actual bands that you would pay to go see. So that's pretty cool. Now, Kim, I'm a big old nerd, and I really, really love the free educational components of the festival. Two of my favorites are the Ghirardelli exhibit that is called From the Bean to the Bar, and that happens in the Festival Center. They have information about their company history and chocolate making process, plus a display of the most beautiful chocolate sculptures you have ever seen, with a Disney twist, obviously. And I also really love the Back to Basics demonstration series, where you learn about a specific ingredient, for instance, olives or kumquats. And there are usually free samples, guys, so you can go take this, I think it's half an hour, 45-minute long demo presentation where they tell you about a product, and then you get to taste some of it. That's cool. I'm also a big wine lover, so if you're like me and you have an interest in viniculture, check out the Short Seasons of the Vine video at the Festival Center. I have learned some pretty cool information about what they do to harvest all the grapes and keep the birds away, all that.
Okay, you had me at wine. I have not ever been to the Food and Wine Festival. It's on my to-do list. It just has not happened yet, but now I need to know, what are the opportunities for tasting or buying wine like? Is it available only at the Global Marketplace booths? Tell me more.
Well, you can definitely buy wine at the Global Marketplace booths. And there's different ones, you know, if it's the Argentina booth, you'll buy Argentinian wine, et cetera, et cetera. But actually, you can pay a small fee to join a structured tasting at the Festival Center. I did this last year, and I was able to try 3 delicious wines from California, and I learned a lot in the 45-minute workshop. The workshop was $17, and they only happen on select days, I'm pretty sure. And so I would suggest making advanced reservations. What happened was we showed up, we were seated, and we got there early so we could get good seats and I could get some photos. But they gave us this cool little, I don't know if you can see that very well, but a cool little card so that we could make notes about which wines we liked. We tried Meiomi Chardonnay, Meiomi Pinot Noir, and Ravage Nightfall, which at that point had not hit the market yet. It was going to hit the market within the next few months. And the representative from those wineries talked to us about the process and why their wines are unique, talked to us about tasting notes and all that sort of fun stuff. And then there was a Q&A at the end where people were asking a lot of really good questions, and including like what wine trends were coming up. I think that might have been my question. And he said like dry, light pink rosés and frosé. That's basically rosé that you throw in a margarita machine so it gets all slushy. And we're going to be huge this summer. And guess what? He was right. So they know exactly what they're talking about. Now, as far as buying wine, so it's very important to note that you cannot, if you buy, they do sell wine. They sell a lot of the wines that they feature in the festival and some special wines that I'll talk about in a minute. But if you buy the wine, you cannot carry it out of the store with you throughout the park. Obviously, glass breakage, obviously people getting drunk with no, having to buy something else and having smart serve people tell them that they're getting cut off. There's a lot of problems. So if you're gonna buy wine, you need to do it with at least 3 hours before you leave the park, because then they will send it to the front gate for you. You could also, if you're staying at a Disney Resort hotel, have it sent there. But I was buying some very expensive wine, and I was concerned that they might go walking. And not only were they expensive, they're very hard to find, so I didn't want to lose them. So I just sent them to the front gate. And even so, they almost lost them. And when I went to go pick them up, it took them over an hour to actually find them. They hadn't been transported, and I was like, heart palpitations. So let's talk about that wine. They sell not every bottle, but a lot of the bottles that they're featuring at the festival. They do have a special red and a special white made every year for the festival. And then there were others, like last year, I remember the Kurt Russell Goji line was there, and some of his other wines. Lots of different wines from around the world that you wouldn't necessarily get in your local wine shop or liquor store. And what I love is that they have hard to find bottles from the Disney family of wines. That is, wines produced at vineyards that are owned by Disney execs or Disney legends. And at the festival center, you can usually find these sometimes in the gift shops, but I'd head to the festival center for the really hard to find stuff. Last year, I found vintages from the Lasseter family vineyards. Yes, John Lasseter from Pixar, and now Disney, and Skywalker vineyards, which are owned by George Lucas. And now, to my knowledge, I can definitely not buy these in Canada, but to my knowledge, these are only typically available direct from the vineyard, and neither of these vineyards have regular tastings and tours available to the public. So whenever I'm in a restaurant and at Disney and I see a bottle of Lasseter wine, you know what I'm ordering. Now, you can also buy wine, like you mentioned, at the Global Marketplace booth, but I think that the wine seminars for $17 are a much better deal, as you get like a good sample of 3 different wines, and you learn something, and it's only $17, and you might be paying $8, $9, $15 for those tiny pours of wine at the Marketplace booth. Although last year they had a cheese studio that had a wine and cheese pairing on a pallet, and
all right, now I need to book a trip.
Now I just sound like a wino. So
I need to book one now. At the Global Marketplace booths, you can also get beer and cocktails that are crafted with regional ingredients specific to the booth theme, and sometimes created just for the festival. Did you happen to have any?
Especially the beers. There's a lot of beers that are created by like a local Florida company or something just for the festival.
Did you happen to try any last year, or?
We tried a few beers. Not that my husband and I aren't we were more wine and cocktail people, but we like interesting beers. We have found in the past that the interesting beers have been more at the Flower and Garden Festival, blueberry beers and flower beers and stuff. This is a lot of international beers that you could buy at the liquor store or go to like a really good pub and have things from Belgium or wherever. Korea. So they weren't as interesting. We tried a few and they were pretty good. We tried several of the cocktails that were delicious.
Now, drinks sound definitely good, but the big draw there is all the foods that you can sample.
Yeah.
Some of the booths are themed to places around the world like Greece or South Korea, and others are themed to ingredients or techniques like chocolate or sustainability. This year, 35 kiosks are featured. How can you possibly decide what to eat with all those choices?
So, I mean, it's much like Flower Garden Festival. No problem for me to eat my way through in a couple days, but that's not really possible with the Food and Wine Festival, which is good because it's the Food and Wine Festival. You'd expect there to be a lot of variety. So the nice thing is that when you enter the park, you can actually pick up this, it'll look different this year, but it's a festival passport, and it lists all of the booths and what they offer. You can look this up online before you leave too, but I'll show you what one of the pages looks like. So you can mark down what you might like to try or what you have tried, and you can put these cute little stickers on if you've actually tried something from that booth. So you can say, oh, I've already been to the Hawaii booth, I don't need to go back there. So I would recommend picking one of those up, and then the festival doesn't open until 11 when World Showcase opens. So while you're waiting in line for Soarin' or something, pull out the Food and Wine Festival passport and make a game plan just like you'd make a game plan for the rides. Look through, mark off what are your must-try items, and if you're going a little later in the festival, so not the first couple of days, watch online for reviews. Then you can find out what foods are like getting thumbs up, getting thumbs down, because there are definitely some winners and some losers at the festival. And also, especially when it comes to cocktails, they're all around the same price. They're like $8 to $15 usually for a cocktail. And some of them are these teeny tiny pours, and some is like a full cup, or like a martini glass like you might get usually with the Grey Goose cocktails over in France. You don't want to pay that much for like just 2 sips. So, well, maybe you do. That's not for me to say. But you can do a little bit of research and be prepared. Then with food too, some of the portion sizes can really vary. Some of the items are much more expensive than others. Obviously, steak and lobster dishes are going to be more expensive, but some dishes that you wouldn't think are a bit more expensive. Some things that you think would be bigger are very small and only a bite. So do what you can to see. You don't want to like go and spend a ton of money on a bunch of disappointing, tiny, undelicious bites when you could be making better use of your money, in my opinion. So also, people are really chatty because they've had a few drinks. I'm really excited about the food. It's foodies there. People who are just going to the parks to go to the parks are just at the rides. They're not going to this festival. So if you're like, ooh, what's that? Tell me more. It looks delicious. People will tell you where they got it, what it is, if it's good or not. So it's really nice to strike up a conversation. We talked to a very nice gentleman for probably 20 minutes last year about what he had tried so far at the festival. So I would suggest that. And if you're going with other people, my top tip is share as much as you possibly can. Even if you think it's going to be something that everyone's going to love, don't get your own, get one and share it. You can always line up and get seconds later, but you want to try as much as you possibly can. So even if you're going with 4 people or 6 people, that's probably enough that everyone can get a little bite of everything and you can determine what you really love. I would rather try 60 dishes than 30 dishes or than 15 dishes. If you're going to be at the festival for one day only, really make a must-eat list. I've personally done 4 to 5 meals at the festival, so that means that I've spent 4 or 5 days where I've planned on spending 2 or 3 hours either to have lunch or to have dinner on multiple days of my trip, so that we hit different booths each time and we mark them off in our festival passport. And last year we hit 15 booths over 5 visits. We had 31 items, and it was all delicious, and we were totally not done. I don't have all my receipts, but that probably cost us around $200 to $250 because some of those items were, cocktails that were $10 or steak or lobster that were very expensive also. And if you guys want to know my top picks for this year's festival, keep an eye on our Facebook page, because in a few days I'm going to be doing a live Facebook video about this year's offerings and what I suggest you try.
Now I have to make I have got to make a trip there soon. Won't be this fall, but maybe next
For like
fall.
a month first because you want to go hungry.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. Go on a fasting diet first. Now, something that really seems really neat to me is there's a ton of festival merchandise, and I keep seeing pictures popping up online. Figment, he's my favorite, is featured in a lot of the merchandise. They have clothes, kitchenware, pins, collectibles, art, cookbooks, ingredients. They have tons of things. Sometimes at the Food and Wine Festival, you can attend bottle signings or book signings. There's celebrity chefs, winemakers, and some very unique photo pass opportunities that you can experience during the Food and Wine Festival. There's also, we talked about a lot of the free events, but there's also a lot of special paid experiences to attend if you want to really splurge on the festival, if you're really looking to get something different out of the festival. Several Epcot restaurants host special meals or pairings, like a Parisian brunch or tequila pairing lunch. Also, celebrity chef sessions in What's Cooking With series. Or there is the premier and the priciest event, Party for the Senses, which offers unlimited food and drinks with lots of entertainment, and the price is about $179 to $329 per person.
That's so pricey, but I want to do it so badly. But every time I've been to the festival, it has not been offered on nights when we are there, because it's not offered every night. It's usually once a week. It's not even every week. But I want to go so badly. One event that is a paid event that I really love is Mix It, Make It, Celebrate It. That started last year and it's returning this year. It's about a 90-minute session and it costs only $49 per person. And basically there, a professional chef teaches you how to make a dish. It could be a really specific dish like ganache, or it could be something that's a little bit more interpretive, like tiki drinks. And last year, my husband and I were fortunate enough to get seats for a session that was actually hosted by Iron Chef Masaharu Morimoto. And he taught us a lot about maki, nigiri, and sashimi, as well as cuts, preparation, and presentation of fish for sushi. He came out on stage, he held up this huge fish, and then proceeded to tell us all about how he would pick it at a market in Japan, and then like what side was on the ice and what side wasn't, and how you'd price those sides of the fish differently. And he threw it down, and in the span of this workshop, he just, and it became this gorgeous platter. And he had a few other little bits of fish and some like vegetables and rice. And he like made this platter that looked like it cost thousands of dollars. I'm sure it did cost thousands of dollars of ingredients, but it was like a showpiece dish. And he just like casually crafted it while he was talking to us about things that we should know about sushi, all the while we're drinking a glass of Prosecco and like taking notes, taking photos and videos. And he was very funny. He's a good showman. He is obviously a sushi master and super knowledgeable about what he's doing. He sang a little song to us at the end. But what was really cool is partway through the lesson about sushi, I think it was called Morimoto's Sushi World, the cast members that were assisting him brought around settings for everybody with ingredients to make our own spicy tuna maki rolls. And so there was tuna, sesame seeds, green onions, spicy sauce, rice, nori, everything. And he actually walked us through what it was like, how to properly make a spicy tuna roll. So we all got to do that and see how they turned out. And then we got to eat those. We also got to eat a professionally prepared roll, which tasted about the same, but was holding together much, much better. And, you know, at the end, we got a recipe. We got a commemorative bamboo cutting board. That's a really good value. It was an especially good value because that year, Morimoto Asia had just opened, so I think that he was trying to do a little promotion for the restaurant. So it was really cool that we got to see such a big-time celebrity chef and like sit 10 feet away from him and meet him after the session. But even if it was just somebody you've never heard of talking about an ingredient that you enjoy, I think it's a really good value and a unique experience.
How large are the, how many guests do they allow into sessions such as that one?
Well, that one was, it was a much bigger space, but because there were tables that were set up for us to actually do our sushi making, I'd say maybe 100 or so people, maybe 70 people at a session like that. For the beverage tastings, they have wine, tequila, bourbon, all sorts of things, just like I did that $17 wine tasting I was telling you about. That you probably get 50 to 80 people in, but it's more like theater style seating. You have a little table in front of you, but you're packed in. We had a lot of elbow room at Morimoto. And I think that those events change depending on how much space is needed. They do sell out though, so I'd really recommend that you book in advance. I know last year I got Morimoto as soon as it went on sale, and 2 hours after I checked and it was sold out. My wine tasting sold out after a week or two, but there were still other wine tastings available. So if there's something specific you want to see, if I was going this year, I'd want to go to the Casa Dragones tequila pairing or tequila tasting beverage seminar. So I would book that right away. If you don't really care what you're going to, you can wait a little longer. You can even show up at the festival center day of and see if there are any spots left.
Well, when's the best time to go? I mean, it's open from August to November, and that's a huge time span. What's the best?
Well, I would say October and November are better times to go. If you are there in September, as I was last year, it is still so hot that it was really hard for me to enjoy the festival and really eat anything. The first couple of days I was eating a lot of like ceviches and frozen cocktails and really light items. And the Food and Wine Festival does not have a lot of light items. You got a lot of cheese, you got a lot of duck confit and lobster and other heavy showcase ingredients, right? The Flower and Garden Festival, you have a lot of salads and dainty scones and things. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen here. So if you go at a colder time, you're going to be able to enjoy the food more without feeling ill. But no matter what month you go during the week. Do not go on weekends if you can help it. All the locals come on weekends. Also in the evenings. Best time to go weekday during the day. So go at lunch before it gets too hot. Like as soon as it opens, do an hour or two, then go take a swim if you're hot. Number 2, go weekday evenings. It'll be a little bit busier, but not too bad. 3, Saturday and Sunday afternoons, but it's gonna be hot and crowded. But 4th, even though it won't be as hot, Saturday and Sunday night, especially Friday and Saturday night. That is date night for the locals at the Food and Wine Festival. It's crowded. You're gonna wait a long time. People are gonna be like nudging you. You're gonna spill things. You're gonna encounter a lot of un-Disney-like behavior that I don't care to see when I'm going to Disney World. So that's my thoughts on that.
Very good tips, definitely. Now, my 11-year-old wants to go. She's adventurous with food, but she doesn't drink, so...
Well, I hope not, Kim.
Not yet. No. Will she still enjoy this? She is adventurous with the food part, but there's,
For sure. I think there's a lot for whether they're kids or non-drinkers. There's lots to enjoy. Every booth has non-alcoholic options. Some of them are just like water, and usually they have a partner who's chilling something. So I think last year it was Seagram's, and they had like an orange flavored bubbly water that you could get in addition to Dasani. You can get Dasani everywhere. And sometimes they have other like local non-alcoholic beverages. They also make several of the cocktails, not every booth, but a lot of the booths offer like a mocktail version of some of the cocktails that they offer. But everybody can have the food. So the food is really the big draw. I think that the alcohol is really, I would enjoy it just as much without the alcohol. It's very secondary to the festival, and I think it's really just to draw more grown-ups into Epcot. And especially if you're going little kids, I mean, I think that I would still enjoy this, so I think an 11-year-old would enjoy it. But they always do something called Remy's Hide and Squeak, and it's similar to what they do at Easter, where you get a map, and at Easter there's eggs, but here it's Remy from Ratatouille with an ingredient like a broccoli or a mushroom, and it's a little statuette, and they hide them in the World Showcase pavilions, and you go find them, and then when you find them, you put your stickers on the map, you take your map back at the end, and you get a prize. So even if mommy and daddy want to eat and drink around the world, stick your kid in a stroller and let them look for Remy, and everyone's happy.
Everyone's happy.
There are lots of dishes, too, that would be friendly to, like, well, maybe not all, most of the desserts, super kid friendly. They have, like, waffles with berries or chocolate, or the most delicious one with beef stew stuff on top, like braised beef. And other, like, cheese, or like sometimes a ravioli or a salad or a chicken skewer, things that are more, even though they might have slightly more adventurous flavors, things that are normal to kids. So you won't have any trouble. Your daughter would love it.
All right, so now that I'm planning ahead, how much should I budget for this?
Well, I mean, when people ask me how much to budget for a Disney World vacation, I'm like, oh, you could spend $500 or $5 million, literally. So that's kind of the same thing here. But I will say, if you just want to try a couple things, if you're not really a foodie, if you're just a casual Epcot goer and you just want to see what it's about, like $20 a person, you could try a few things and it would be fine. All the better if you're there with people you can share, so you can try a few more dishes. But if you're a foodie, if you're planning on having some wine or some alcoholic cocktails, even if you're not planning on going to any of the seminars or anything, probably like $50 per person per trip to Epcot, like $50 per person to get a meal's worth over 2 to 3 hours. Maybe a little less. My husband and I were typically like pretty full after sharing about 7 dishes and maybe 2 or 3 cocktails that or beers or wines that we shared. So, but we're big eaters, so you could be full in a lot less than that, or you could be full in more. They always put up I don't know that Disney actually puts up the prices, but the Disney Food Blog, disneyfoodblog.com, they always put up prices as soon as they're available, so you can go look at the menu and kind of make a game plan that way. And, you know, the most expensive items that I've had have not necessarily been the best ones. If you're not going to get that steak in Canada, you're not going to get a lobster roll, I think that's just fine. I personally would rather have 2 or 3 items that are cheaper and be able to try more than go to those things. But I know my good friend Carl Trent over at Dad's Guide to WDW. He loves that steak and like only wants to go and eat all that steak all the time. So make judgments based on your preferences, but I'd say that's a pretty good rule of thumb.
Good to know, definitely. Gonna start saving for my trip. I heard something like there's a secret opening night. Do you know anything about that?
So I've actually done this twice. The night before the festival opens, so there's an official opening day. I don't remember what day it was, but let's say the official opening day was Wednesday. If you go around dinner time to Epcot on the Tuesday night, they're maybe not all the booths, but most of the booths are open and they're testing things. Nobody's there because nobody knows that it's open, but it's kind of like their dry run, and usually it's more like cast members who know about it, so they're out. But the first year we didn't know about it. We stumbled upon it and we were like, oh, are we allowed to go in the line for the delicious food? And they were like, oh yeah, of course, it's just our cast member preview, but you don't have to be a cast member. So I was like, great, take all my money. And so then this last time that we went, we specifically made a point of going there that night again. We tried one thing and then the skies opened up and it started pouring rain. So they closed all the booths, which is understandable. So then we went and had dinner somewhere else, which is fine. But if you're there and it's the day before opening night, it's a nice night, go, because you won't wait in line. Everyone's really excited, and it's like a really nice, relaxed way to do it. There's also something else that I want to talk about. They do something called the Festival Tasting Sampler. And it's a lanyard that looks like this. And in the past, it's included a pin, like a limited edition pin that comes with it. I'm not sure this year if it includes a pin or not. But basically, on the sides of this, there were like 8. Oh, you know what? A couple years ago on the sides of this, there were like 8 tabs that you tore off. Last year, it was like a second piece on this lanyard that were the tabs and you tore them off. I don't remember the exact price, but it was, I don't know, something like, I want to say $65 or something for the 8 things. That's actually, and then you can use them for any items that you want to purchase, alcoholic, non-alcoholic, food, whatever. There's no price limit. They do sometimes have exclusions. So like on the back of mine, it said that I was not allowed to have the food or the cheese and wine palette. That was like a $20 item. And that I was not allowed to have any of the champagnes. All the champagnes are like $15, $20, $30. Mm-hmm. So I can understand them excluding those. So you'll just have to read the fine print. I will say it's not really a good value unless, if you're a really bad budgeter and so you want to buy it so that you know that that is what you're spending at the festival and once your tickets are gone, you're gone, that's your business. But unless you're buying only these super high value items like just that steak in Canada, just those $12 frozen cocktails, it's not worth your money. I bought it last year specifically because my husband and I figured out that between the two of us, we wanted to try 8 of those very expensive items. One of the items we wanted to try was John Lasseter, one of the, I don't know which one it was, but one of the John Lasseter wines that they were serving. And even though it was not stipulated on this card, they wouldn't let us have it. We asked about it at customer service and they basically told us, like, too bad, so sad. Which wasn't a very Disney, like, at that point, that was like the first tabs that we wanted to use, and I just wanted to give it back. I was so upset. Then later in the night, we'd used 2 or 3 of the tabs, and it's not like a super secure thing, and this piece is very, like it's plastic, it's hard, but the other piece was just a paper. We were standing in line for Frozen Ever After in our Fast Pass queue, and I realized it was gone. It had clearly, I don't think somebody like stole it from me. I think that my lanyard just like tugged on something and it fell right off. Oh. So we lost almost all of our tickets. And I went to go talk to them about it, to guest services, not to like get my money back or anything. I didn't think that was going to happen anyway, but to let them know that like this was happening. And maybe they needed to look at, because it was very early in the festival, I was like, maybe you need to look at a different way of doing this. And they all just like did not care at all. And they seemed to think that I was asking them about like if my credit card was going to be safe, because I could use a credit card to buy this. But like, yes, it's going to be, it's just like losing cash, right? It's not tied my identity at all. So I don't think I was communicating well. But I talked to 3 different people and all of them basically told me like, too bad. So that was Disney. Back to the wine festival night. That's not Disney's fault. Like that the cast members didn't do anything to help me. But it definitely left a sour taste in my mouth, and I just went back to the Pop Century and drowned my sorrows in a pineapple upside down cake.
No tie-dye cheesecake?
My husband Danny had a tie-dye cheesecake and we shared. We might have also had a fried chicken sandwich. Okay, now you got me. So we can't wait to see what our fellow fangirls think about the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. If you've been there, share your comments below. And if you haven't, tell us if you're planning to go, what you're looking forward to, or if you have any questions, ask us anything. We'd love to answer you.
In our Fangirl Spotlight this week, we have to mention Iron Chefs. Since we're talking about the Epcot Food and Wine Festival, we have got to talk about Iron Chefs. And there have been only 2 female Iron Chefs, and both have a connection to the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. Alexandra Guarnacelli, I hope I pronounced that correctly, will be hosting one session of What's Cooking With at the 2017 festival. And Kat Cora, who you may know from her restaurant Cucina at Disney's Boardwalk, which has since been replaced by Trattoria El Forno, is hosting 2 sessions of the same special event.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I wish I could be there.
Thank you. Kat Cora is great. So is Alex Gornishelli. But yeah, that's very cool that like the only 2 women iron chefs are both going to be there.
Both going to be there.
Now, thank you everyone so much for joining us on It's a Fangirl World and listening to all my crazy Food and Wine Festival ramblings. We are going to be back in a few weeks with a new vlog, so please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll put the link up there for you so you don't miss it.
In the meantime, watch our Facebook page where we post new content and connect with our fellow fangirls every day. We'd love to see you there.
We would. And if you really want to show off your fangirl pride, our TeePublic store has everything that you could want: stickers, notebooks, hoodies, t-shirts, and we just released cool new designs, including one for those of you with a low Disney battery, as I like to call it. So go check it out. I have the link right here, and in case you're curious, I'm wearing It's a Fangirl World tank top right now, so they're pretty nice quality. Don't forget, if you get a t-shirt or a device case or a sticker or anything, take it to Disney with you and take a photo and send it to us, and we'll share it on our Facebook page.
If you enjoyed this show, please share, ask others to share, give our Facebook page a like, or go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss a vlog. And don't be shy, leave us a comment to let us know what topics you'd love to hear more about.
Until next time, keep living the magic, fangirls.
Bye. Bye.